When you picture the American agricultural heartland, you probably see endless rows of green stretching to the horizon. We are taught to view this landscape as the ultimate global breadbasket, producing enough calories to feed the world many times over. Yet, the World Resources Institute projects a global caloric shortfall of 30% by the year 2030. We have more cultivated acreage than almost anywhere else on Earth, but millions are still bracing for severe food insecurity. This paradox exists because we misunderstand exactly what is growing in those fields. Over the last few decades, the United States has systematically re-engineered its agriculture. It has stopped functioning as a food system and operates almost entirely as an industrial factory. The plants we assume are destined for our dinner plates are actually manufactured components. They are engineered to fuel our gas tanks and fatten livestock, masking a massive failure in how we use our land. This map visualizes the USDA's projected crop sales, showing all the land used to grow crops in the contiguous United States. At first glance, it looks like a massive bounty. Then we carve away fully half of it. 30% of our crops are grown strictly for livestock feed, and another 20% are oil crops, like soybeans, headed for industrial processing. Another sizable chunk goes to things that offer zero caloric value to humans at all, like cotton and tobacco. When you strip away the feed, the fuel, and the textiles, only about 31% of the crops we grow are direct human food. The geographic footprint of everything Americans actually eat fits almost entirely within the borders of Indiana, Illinois, and half of Iowa. The vast majority of our agricultural landscape is dedicated to sustaining animal and industrial populations. Feeding human beings is a secondary byproduct of the system. The most glaring misallocation of this land involves corn ethanol. A massive portion of American corn is legally required to become vehicle fuel, a system locked into place by a 2005 federal mandate. Today, 29.7 million acres of American farmland is dedicated strictly to fueling cars. As this map shows, that is an area the size of New York State, used for nothing but ethanol. According to data from Cornell University, this process is incredibly inefficient. A utility-scale solar array can produce the exact same amount of energy using 31 times less land. Converting even a fraction of those ethanol fields to solar would free up millions of acres and reduce toxic nutrient runoff in the Mississippi River system by up to 85%. We actively choose to maintain a highly polluting, low-yield fuel source instead of maximizing our land for effective decarbonization and human food. You might ask why a farmer would choose to grow car fuel over food. The answer is that they do not really have a choice. Federal subsidies and crop insurance programs are built to exclusively reward the monocropping of low-value commodities. The financial architecture of American farming protects corn and soy, leaving little incentive to diversify. Once those subsidized crops leave the farm, corporations acquire them cheaply and manipulate them into highly processed goods, like high-fructose corn syrup and seed oils, that flood our grocery shelves. By making these processed components the most profitable commodities to produce, federal policy has ensured that refined sugars and oils remain the most accessible fuel for the average American diet. This factory model carries a hidden, devastating cost. Decades of heavy tilling, monocropping, and chemical reliance are actively killing the critical microbial life in our topsoil. As this timeline illustrates, the degradation is happening so fast that Scientific American noted, at current rates, the United States has only 60 years of farming left. We are making a clear biological trade-off. We are mining our soil to extinction in exchange for a temporary supply of cheap ethanol and processed sugars. Our agricultural system has a hard, rapidly approaching expiration date. If the soil dies, the capacity to grow anything disappears with it. But this engineered system can be reversed. Research from the Union of Concerned Scientists shows that we have the tools to redesign it. If we rewrite federal policy to incentivize diverse, direct-to-consumer food crops instead of subsidized commodities, farmers would grow them. This shift would revitalize rural economies, restore the health of the topsoil, and drastically improve public health. Next time you see those endless rows of green on an American road trip, look at them as a vast energy reserve and a massive centralized feed supply. The clock is ticking on our topsoil. But we still possess the acreage, the science, and the power to dismantle the factory and rebuild a farm that actually feeds us.